11 o'clock. That's how you're supposed to do it. We still didn't start at 10:45, but it's all right. It's all right. So let's get started. Let's do our disclaimer. Is this on? Yep, the drive is on. Do our disclaimer and let's get rocking. We got a few things to talk about. Nothing crazy, I think. Well, the first one is crazy. Literally is crazy. But a few things. And for my people out there, disclaimer, not a financial advisor. Where is it? Yes, I am live. That's a good headline. I almost clicked on it and said, ooh, look at that. Where is it? Hope y'all weekend was well. It's Monday. It's Monday already. It's really Monday already. Disclaimer, the videos presented here are for informational purposes only, and therefore if you are to choose an institution, if you are to choose to attend the institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at the institution you are interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking on behalf of creator Henry is only speaking from his experience, okay? And I'm about to point at it. Touchscreen. So, a disclaimer, not a financial advisor. Markets are looking pretty good due to a recent deal with Trump and the EU. But besides that, because sometimes stories are hard to get in the morning, which is, pretty interesting seeing what the nighttime schedule going to look like when we go live. So we still getting some kinks out and still experimenting, which is very good. We can see where more of the views were coming from. We can go check that. And so that's always good, right? We want to find the best way to get your attention. Yeah. All right. First thing first. University of New Mexico had a shooting. Yes, indeed, they had a shooting at the dorm. Let me see if this is the same website I'm on. I was looking on Google, browsing it. Even though it comes from a credible source, you still want to make sure they're not misleading you. Yes, I had the audio up. I want to see if there's a video. There should be a video. Crazy, right? No problem. We can go to it right quick. I'm pretty sure it has a video of this is not a school that wants to go viral for the wrong reasons. Shooting. Let's see. As I found the video for us before I play it out loud. No videos yet. Just an officer. Let's see what this. It's only 12 seconds, but let's see what this officer said. I don't think he's gonna say much. Let's just see what he says.
At about 2:30 p.m. today, state police agents, members of our crime suppression bureau, and members of our tactical team located and took the suspect, 18-year-old John Fuentes, into custody in Valencia County.
So right there, they're just talking about not much, as I said, but he's just talking about the person, identifying the person. Right now, I'm looking through to see if there's another video. It's not much video, so it's gonna be a lot of wordplay by me. So, one dead, one injured in the shooting at the University of New Mexico housing complex. So for all my people out there who don't know what the University of New Mexico is, it's a college institution, as we always talk about. Why am I talking about a shooting on the campus? Well, first and foremost, majority students who go to college like to stay on campus. And I think it's very critical when you like to stay on campus that you should know that your safety is at risk even more. Considering the fact that you can't possess firearms at some campuses, depending on what state you're in and all the other factors, right? Because I remember it was a big thing about carrying a firearm. Because I'm here in Georgia, it was a big thing about carrying a firearm on campus. You can actually carry a firearm on campus in Georgia on campuses. Um, and so, but when you're a student, in most cases, I don't think you can carry one on campus. Don't quote me on that. But once again, so many factors into that. Because if you're like up north, you definitely can't carry no firearm. Like they don't play that. But one person is dead and another is injured. This shooting happened on July 25th. I believe that's a Friday when this happened, guys. Let's see. Before I get into the deep, yeah, this was on Friday. Man, that's terrible. This was on Friday. And so it says the shooting at the Casas del Rio housing complex began in the early morning. This was in the morning, according to University President Garnett S. Stokes. The person wounded, well, not the person, but the president, Garnett S. Stokes. The person wounded in the shooting is being treated at a local hospital. Okay. So before I keep going reading through this, whew, how do I put this? They charge you all this money, right, to go to school. So we're going to go to the University of New Mexico campus, right? First and foremost, that's where we're going to go. Apparently, also just came across this. It says 14-year-old boy playing video game killed in University of New Mexico dorm shooting. Wow. But I'm going to go to the University of New Mexico housing fees. And we're actually going to review them too as the last school. Well, like doing a review. University of New Mexico. Alright. So I'm trying to find, there you go, right there. First thing that pops up when I typed it in on Google. So, alright. So University of New Mexico, yes. University of New Mexico, they housing rates by semester on the high end. Well, on the low end, $2,500 per semester. On the high end, $4,125. And so, why is this a big deal? Because they're supposed to keep you protected. That's the big thing I have a problem with. You're supposed to be protected. Once again, when your parents are entrusting the institution to keep you protected or keep your loved ones protected, because once again, there was a 14-year-old kid in the dorm, probably with his brother, big sister, and a shooting happened. Of course, this seems like a campus shooting, but once again, if you are going to stay somewhere and lay your head under a roof and be there like a new home, you should be safe. That's not safe at all. That's point blank simple. How was somebody able to carry a firearm onto the campus? Nobody spots it. Nobody calls it in. This is what I'm saying. It's only, I guarantee you, the police at that school is not that many of them. I guarantee you, it's only a certain amount. They can only patrol so much because they only the staff they got on hand. And this is another factor that I say you should think about when you're trying to stay on campus. It's not all peaches and cream when you stay on campus. This is the other side of things they don't tell you, of course, in college. And why? Because you're going to also have to pay what? Tons of money to go to school, take on student loan debt, have to delay, start your life right away. And then it's just a ripple effect. And so this is a tragic moment. Like some of the kids who even experience this might can't bounce back and go to class. And so as we keep going, the people who mentioned they're deeply saddened. But it says the university officials began a staged tactical evacuation. Boom, boom, boom. Personnel on campus. Let's keep going. We want the story. Do anybody got the details? So it says the shooting came when about 400 students were on campus for a new student orientation. Wow, new student orientation, said University Communications Director Steve Carr. They were staying in campus dormitories. Huh. Stokes laminated what I think lamented. Stokes lamented. I'm gonna say lamented. I probably don't know if I said it right. Let's see. I'm gonna come back to it. What impact the shooting might have on the new students start at the university. Say that again. Are you really concerned about what the shooting might have on the new students starting at the? I ain't going to your school. I'm not going to your school. You what the impact might have on new students? Oh, your enrollment is about to be crazy low. No, them kids not about to go there. They're not. Any parent and guardian with sense wouldn't stand their kid. Or you just had a shooting. And then I'm looking at this word because I definitely am having.
Lamented.
Yeah, lamented. Okay. So a conventional way of describing someone who has deceased or something that has been lost or that has ceased is this. Okay. It's a proper term.
Lamented.
It's a proper term. So Stokes lamented what impact. I don't know why he said lamented though. But we understand this incident may be especially distressing for new students and their families. We want to assure everyone that we are fully committed to your safety and well-being. No, you're not. No, you're not. I want to know the whole, like, how that happened. Did they just walk onto the campus? Did they sneak past people? What was the process? This happens more frequent than you think, people. This happens more frequent than we think. It's going to get pushed under the rug. Of course, when you try to go to school, let's just say like next year, new student orientation, or next semester, spring, this will be, of course, something they don't mention. Why would they mention it? Because that's going to turn a lot of people around. But once again, it's really simple. It's a 3-step process. They want you to come here. They charge you a lot of money, but they don't keep you safe. It's that simple. There's a story about a young lady. I believe she was. I don't want to say the college because I don't want to be said the wrong college, but it was a couple colleges happened that recently. I know one was at a HBCU, of course. Another one was at a PWI, and many more to count, right? And it's even me when I when I jog on college campuses, because I know lately it's been shooting activities. I usually have both. I have one headphone just like this, and then the other one because I like to listen to music when I run. But you have to be cautious nowadays. You can't just have both. I never had both earphones on my head unless I'm. Well, you can't even say at a track meet or nothing these days because that still can happen. So you just gotta be careful, and it's not really their fault. The students, the parents who were just going to new student orientation, it's just the school. Like, where's the security? If it's new student orientation, it should have been highly secured. It should have been over patrolling, if anything. That's called a hotspot, by the way. So I'm not understanding the police or the schools strategic planning to keep them safe on that. That just didn't not making sense. As we keep going, the shooting comes 3 years after another incident. The July 25 shooting comes less than 3 years after another fatal attack at the University of New Mexico housing building left one student dead and 3 campus visitors injured. So this happened back in 2022. Wow, that hasn't been 5 years yet. The November 2022 shooting broke out after students attempted to lure a New Mexico State University basketball player to campus and attempted to assault him, according to local media outlets. 2 men were sentenced for their roles in the shooting in June 2024. But this is their second shooting, University of New Mexico. I had some articles up in here, actually. Let's go back. Should pop up when I type that in. They didn't really give us details on that one. That's when it happened at the time. And the shooting suspect was 18 years old, I believe. Video game. There's no real story to it yet, meaning they don't know why this person did that or how they even got onto the, well, somebody got onto the campus, they walked onto the campus, but how did they just get past the police, the campus police at that? So, did want to mention that. Yeah, did want to mention that. That happened on Friday. So keep in mind when you are going on tour, if you are considering like it's in your best interest to stay on campus, you feel like staying on campus is a better environment compared to at home with your parents who keep you safe. Just remember those factors. Like that can happen. It's more easily for people to walk on your campus. It's more easily for people to come towards your dormitory with weapons. That includes knives, firearms, other deadly assault items. You have to keep that in mind when you're making a big decision like that. Something they don't really, they just give you the bright side of things. They should give you mixed reviews of what you need to be concerned of and aware of. And like I say, stay off campus is why I say. Not one of the reasons why I say it. I don't think that far to be that dark, but I do say stay off campus to save you money and time, so that you can definitely jumpstart your life. And just please consider these factors. This can happen at any institution, but when it happens at the institution, it shouldn't happen at all. But it's going to happen. You just have to realize that some things in this country just won't change. So you have to think like that sometimes. All right. Enough on University of New Mexico, because we're going to come back to them and talk about their tuition prices and stuff. Financial aid is excluded from the One Big Beautiful Bill. What did I mean by that? I meant like they're not having no control over the implementation of the One Big Beautiful Bill. So financial aid has been upset in my Donald Trump impression. They have been upset that they're not getting to sit at the table with the committees. So we have because it took me a little bit. I was reading it this morning. It took me a little bit to figure this out, a little bit what they were trying to go with this. So let me move this down and move this up and move. I think this is all pertaining to what we're finna talk about. Move this up and move this up. And move that up. All right. So right here it says the U.S. Department of Education drew flake for plans that will determine exactly how Republicans' newly passed One Big Beautiful Bill will reshape higher ed. So I didn't know what that meant when they said drew flake. I clicked on the link and it took me to, that's what it took me to. That's how it was. And then it was like excluding financial aid community jeopardizes successful implementation of student aid reforms. So what this is mostly about financial aid not having a say so in what goes on with the One Big Beautiful Bill, the implementation of the workforce Pell Grant, and what's the other? And the federal student loans. So they're not giving financial aid a chance to speak, or how it should be implemented, how it should be regulated, and all this jazz, right? It's just like, no, we don't have no, from what it's perceived as, that's before we keep going, is that we don't have no real higher ed professionals providing input. It's mostly politicians who are having to say so and telling us what we should and what we should be doing or what we are going to do. I don't know how to feel about that because I am not. How? What can I say? I am not. I don't know. Like, all right, from my lens, you have these higher ed professionals who has some stuff in place, but it hasn't really been working anyway. Now, logical, you do supposed to put the professionals there so they can have their input, and then you be like, well, they're giving their expertise view, so I guess we should listen to them a little bit, but we're still gonna do a majority our way. Um, but I don't know why they're feeling devastated because they should have known that was gonna happen. That's how I feel. Like I don't be surprised by some things. Like as I'm loading up, I don't be surprised by certain things that at this point because I'm like, if they've been taking control, if the Trump administration has been taking control of how everything is going to run, how it should be and it will be, I don't know why they're surprised that they didn't invite them to the table. But as we keep going, that's just opinion mine. It's not really a strong, I would say, like giving myself a little slack there. I don't think it's really my opinion matters in that case, but I don't know why they even thought they was gonna be at the table to speak on how this is gonna get implemented. I don't see why they thought that. The U.S. Department of Education today. This is the first sentence, so we are on the what website? We are on NASFA. So if you don't know what NASFA is, for my people out there, they are the. This is definitely like professionals take advantage of it a lot. Students can take advantage of it as well too if they need to like if you are anything like me trying to voice your righteousness, like you're right about something and you're trying to prove a professional wrong, this is kind of like one of the places you would go about financial aid. What does NASFA stand for? I don't know. They asked me that in a interview one time and I said, what? I almost wanted to say, what does this have to do with the job? Like, I'm like, I don't think anybody know. I know it has to do with financial aid, but but it's the National Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators. Um, so it's in the name itself. It's National Association. It's like an organization. They're the hunchos, as I like to say, the leaders, pioneers for anything pertaining to financial aid. They're gonna get the scoop pretty much before they work head in head with the Department of Education. So if they get something or if something's coming out with financial aid, they pretty much provide it to the Department of Education. Usually, unless the Department of Education takes something to their own hands. But these people right here working head to head cahoots with them. And it consists of professionals, of course. I could be wrong. Let me see. Yeah, it's based in Washington, D.C., so yeah. And they have more than 29,000 financial aid professionals, approximately 3,000 colleges, universities, and career schools across the country. So, yeah. Let's keep going. So, the president, she just became president and CEO of the NASFA. I'm going to call it NASFA. Melanie Story. So I'm not gonna read all this because they're pretty much. I think this is like a small quote of her, but it's more of it because we still gotta break it down. It's a lot. They spoke on this a lot. So give me grace. Give me grace. Okay. In response to this news, NASFA President and CEO Melanie Story released the following statement. Given the topics being discussed, it is unfathomable to not have representation from the financial aid community, the primary institutional constituency responsible for communicating these important changes to students and families and implementing the details of this wide-ranging bill on college campuses. Financial aid professionals are essential to ensuring a smooth implementation. This is an alarming first misstep in enacting the monumental policy changes included in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. So, as you can see, she's upset that financial aid or the financial aid community doesn't have one say so or any say so in what's about to go down with the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And like I always say, how does it affect students and parents? As she said, when you don't have pretty much in a nice way, when you don't have people who are smarter in this area making the wise decisions, like you gotta think these are gonna be people who never worked in higher education. Like some of these people haven't did anything with college since, not talking about the president, CEO, Melanie. I'm talking about the other people. I don't even know who the people are. They didn't even say it's just a committee. Like literally, the article say committee. It's committee. Committee is not specifying who is going to be talking on behalf of like how all this gets implemented for the federal student loans and the workforce Pell. So when you got people who haven't seen college information since they were in college, what's good, G? Since they were in college, that is going to be a problem for who? For people like you and me, for students, parents, and guardians, because I'll be a parent and guardian one day in life, right? So I got nieces and nephews, right? So this is going to affect them. That's going to affect them. And it's not a good look. And so, G, was good? How was my weekend? It was crazy. Crazy good. Crazy good weekend. Crazy good weekend. How about you? How was your weekend, G? How was your weekend? And so, and I actually pulled up the Higher Education Act of 1965. Was it a movie? Sorta. JK. No, it was normal. Normal weekend. It says section 465. No, not section 465. I gotta find it. Well, we'll come back to it. It's definitely under our section. That's good to hear. Yes, sir. And so two negotiated rulemaking committees. Once again, I don't know who the two negotiated rulemaking committees are, but it says to be held in the coming months will include representatives to voice the interests of students. You're gonna have people who are supposed to represent students, student loan borrowers, student legal assistance organizations, state official, colleges, student loan servicers, taxpayer interest organizations, employers, and accreditors, the education department. So, or the education department said last week. But who's supposed to be representing all of this? Well, first and foremost, what highlighted I did want to say first and foremost for is where is it? It's not on here. It's probably on the website. This is supposed to take place this semester and next semester. Where is it? I know they said November. All right. So the RISE committee will have 5-day sessions in September and November. The department will also create an accountability in higher education and fancy acronyms, pretty much called AHEAD, which will address the workforce Pell. I'm assuming that is the committee, but I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So this is gonna be the AHEAD committee, which will do a 5-day session in December and January, and then you got the RISE committee, which the department will create, which is the Reimaging and Improving Student Education, known as RISE Committee. They will address the federal student loan related changes, and the RISE committee is the one who will have theirs in September and November. That's really important. And then it goes into the background of the section 492 of the Higher Education Act of 1965 requires that Secretary of Education solicit public involvement and the development of proposed regulations before publishing any proposed rules, and all these fancy jargon words that I don't really like reading back and forth because it's gonna sound like gibberish, and then it's like, tell me what I need to know, and I'm gonna tell you what you need to know. So what you need to know is these changes are not gonna be smooth. Changes are not gonna be smooth. It's not gonna be smooth, and that's not good. It's never good like that because they're just creating a committee from perspective. They just creating a committee. Nobody knows who is the professionals in these committees. We don't know who the lineup is. We don't know, like we said, we don't know if it's. We know they're not in financial aid. It might just be some high-ranking politicians for all we know. Um, Very one-sided. It's probably not even gonna be both sides, if I'm just assuming. So it's something to keep an eye out for, because, like I said, it's gonna definitely be kicked in by August 2026, and of course that's when people start. Oh, I didn't know this was happening. And then we say, okay, then we can expand on it more, and then get the complaints, get the problems. So as we keep going, committee is just a filler for we go get some people together and talk about it. Yeah, and not actually meant to solve problems, lol. And G said, so, well, y'all probably heard me reading out loud. G said it's a filler word for we are not going to really do anything. We're going to pretend. We're going to do what we're supposed to do and keep it pushing. A lot of bluffer. We don't like people that bluffer with us. And I think I read that right there. Actually, this is what I wanted to get into as well. As I'm don't say that word because they made a bad reputation for it. As I'm scanning through properly, this is one of the largest bits of statutory change. Sorry, this one of the largest bits of statutory change we have seen across Title IV programs in many years. What is Title IV? So I was looking and I was like, what is Title IV? Before I even kept going. Title IV in the context of higher education refers to the section of higher education Act of 1965, which is, it authorizes federal student financial aid programs. Authorizes federal student financial aid programs. These programs administered by the U.S. Department of Education provides grants, loans, and work-study opportunities. Key things, those are the things we've been talking about. Besides work-study opportunities, it's one of the main things we've been talking about. Grants. Remember, we've been talking about grants being revoked. We've been talking about the loans being complicated now, or loans being like students not going to be able to get certain loans in certain majors, right? So if you are picking a major that doesn't have a good return on investment, you're not going to be eligible for a loan by the federal government, which is known as what? Financial aid. So financial aid is not going to give you a federal loan because your program doesn't have a good return on investment according to the benchmark of that school. Work study opportunities. They tried to mess up work study, but work study I believe is the same. But this is going into what? The policy of the Higher Education Act of 1965. How do I do that? I'm going to go look up Title IV right now. It's in here. I'm already in the section of it, I think. No, I'm not. So did it specify the section for me? No. Why? Because they don't like me enough to specify. So I have to go find it and do ID. And let's see how many in here. And it's a lot of that in here. It's a lot of it. And I am not. Because this is written in law. Pretty much. So we're looking for, and it keeps going. So we have to come back to that as well. So Title IV, financial aid, student eligibility, and the institution eligibility. Oh yeah, because Melanie said they inquired twice. Told the daily briefing, this means financial administrators should be at the core of it. And we said that they're pretty much upset. NASFA is upset because they don't have a seat at the table. We said that, but it was something about Title IV. Oh well. The education department says one of the groups that does. The education department says one of the groups that do get a seat at the table will reflect financial aid officers' perspective. Okay. So a financial aid administrator is likely to serve in a slot reserved for, say, a college representative. Therefore, there is no need to have a representative for the profession, Ellen Keast, Deputy Press Secretary, said in a statement. How does that sound? How does that sound? I'm gonna copy and paste that. How does that sound to you, G? I'm gonna copy and paste. How does that sound? Boom. And then this is the actual. I don't know how to take that. That's interesting. Of course. How to take that. Felt like they were being smart with them. They said a financial administrator is likely to serve in a slot reserved for, say, a college representative. I don't know how to take that. That's why I put it in the group chat. I'm at the live chat. Like, I don't get it. All right. So they said right here the bigger picture. Personnel, the Chronicle of Higher Education said personnel is policy, even on committees. And while the interests of financial aid officers and colleges often overlap, they are not exactly the same. That leads NASFA to offer its unfiltered views through the public comment press. When they should have been coming to the public a little bit. You know, they always kept everything closed doors. And now when things don't go their way, now they're trying to reach out to the public to help speak up about something they should have been saying. But I don't know, guys. Financial aid is not my main area. But what I can say from my financial aid expert, coming soon. One thing I can tell you about him, he'll tell you the same thing. They don't know what's going on. Financial aid don't know what's going on. When you have financial aid don't know what's going on, guess what? You finna have some messed up financial aid packages out there. So, like, you are getting financial aid, your stuff is about to be either on hold, messed up, changes to this, revoking of your money, the money you thought you had. You ain't finna get. I'm not gonna get him. I'm not gonna get him fired. No. But it's just bad when he's really good at financial aid. It's just bad. Like, he go to conferences and everything for it, and it's just bad when your own, like, this is our headquarters of financial aid. Like, if I was to go get information, like now, right? If I was to go pull, he go spill the. Like, look, if I'm willing to go get, for example, information for NASFA, I'm trying to get some financial aid information for us, right? They don't even know what's going on. That's why information is kind of like dry in higher education, because they don't have no say-so over it. They don't know what's going on themselves. So how can they even report anything and they don't know what's going on? So if they don't know what's going on, you think your institution know what's going on? If your institution don't know what's going on, the blind leading the blind. That ain't good. It ain't good at all. Unless you got your own money, you know? But keep some money on the side, because there's going to be a lot of revoking for sure. I do want to mention that. It's going to be a lot of revoking. G said exactly, because they don't make any of the rules, and just to do what they are told. So it seems like it's like stepping on some cracks, and we like, where are we going with this? But that's the gist of it. The whole gist of that whole little segment we just talked about, which is the who gets to negotiate federal regulations by the Chronicle of Higher Education, is just pretty much look. They got these committees, these two committees, but pretty much overall, NASFA is not going to have a say so. At least right now, unless they do. They love to break out some news when we get off the live screen or over the weekend, going into the weekend. So at least right now, that's their problem. And as we keep going, let's see if we got something from the chat linked in real quick. G said exactly doing what they told. Let's see if anything broke out before we keep going. Oh, some did break out. Hold on. We got some news. Probably wasn't. It's probably somebody who's behind the curve. What is this? Probably somebody who's behind the curve. Give me a few seconds. Computer's not going fast right now. Let's go, computer. Y'all see that? Y'all seen the sun drop? Yeah, we talked about that. You gotta be a little faster. And did Linda say something? You know, Linda good to say something on the live screen, man. I'll use that right now. I don't want to use the light. All right. Nothing right now. All right, to the next one. Interesting. Do y'all want to hear that? All right, Columbia. So, remember us talking about this deal with Columbia? Like, Columbia and Trump made a deal, or Trump administration made a deal, like last week, right? So, allegedly, through the grapevine, there have been other schools that are in the, how can we put it, that are in the talks of trying to get their research funding back. We got Cornell University, Brown, Northwestern universities, and they're all nearing deals, including Duke. Now, I don't know much about this. I didn't hear nothing about these schools, and I'm whispering because it seems like it just went real under the radar, and now it's showing up as if everybody knows. So, also, this was on Friday as well, July 25th. It's one of them articles y'all gonna make me try to pay for, ain't it? Can't do it with Bloomberg. And they keep it gated. Come on. It's right there. It's loading. Come on. Come on, computer. When your computer giving you a hard time, it's crazy. As I wait on that, oh wow, my computer is acting up right now. Wow. It's like your computer know you live streaming. I apologize. Because now it's not showing all my information. I have to refresh the page. And we're watching. There we go. All right. Actually, we got a video. In June, the Trump administration informed Harvard that its investigation found they had violated federal civil rights law. We talked about that. That's an old video. I won't say old, but it was back in June. Yo, they doing the same thing. Let's see what y'all trying to do. Wait for there you go. All right. So yeah, we got those schools that I said before. We thought they had access to the article. They did not give us access to them. So as we keep going, the same couldn't be said about fuel Trumps. All right, that should be something. So yeah, last week we talked about Columbia closing that deal. Now, we said it was going to be a string of deals probably coming, and we said Harvard was nearing their deal. Haven't heard nothing about Harvard nearing a deal just yet. So, it says Columbia has drawn defenders from unexpected corners. A look at reactions over the last few days suggests that while the deal is polarizing, its ramifications will be anything but simple. Not much there. At the leaders announced they agreed to that deal. They said, if this is the price to pay for me to be able to work and my students not to go and sell shoes at Walmart, wow. If this is the price, so the $221 million deal, if this is the price, who said this? The genetics department? Okay. If this is the price to pay for me to be able to work and my students not to go and sell shoes at Walmart, I think I can live with that. Gerard Carsity said that, and I probably butcher his name. That's who said that. I probably butchered his name. I probably butchered it. I'm so sorry for that. The same couldn't be. Oh, they used a leadership term. Not leadership, a power term. They said the settlement will only fuel Trump's authoritarian, if I said it right, appetite to control other democratic institutions that could potentially rein him in. Todd Wolfson, president of the American Association of University Professors, said in a statement. So I was reading that a little bit. Let me get it. So right here, this is by Todd Wolfson, President Todd Wolfson of American Association of University Professors. Very important organization. Right here, he says it's not that much actually, but as I'm reading it, I'm gonna read the top line. The Columbia University Board of Trustees concessions to the Trump administration are a disaster for Columbia students, faculty, and staff, as well as for academic freedom, freedom of speech, and the independence of colleges and universities nationwide. Never in the history of our nation has an educational institution so thoroughly bent to the will of an autocrat. Guys, I can't make this up with these words, man. I cannot make this up. They use some very words that you have to go Google. And if you don't Google them, you're going to be looking crazy. All right. The settlement will only fuel Trump authoritarian appetite to control other democratic institutions, like we read. This settlement subverts our democracy and capitulates to the Trump plan to target the pillars of our democracy, the judiciary, I believe the judiciary, the free press, and our. I'm trying, yeah. He was killing it in his statement. I ain't gonna lie, they used a lot of words. Let me see, hold on. I always saying judicial, but this one is judiciary, I believe. Let me see. Y'all not gonna pronounce it for me, huh? I don't blame you. Oh my goodness. All right. Judiciary. I'm gonna just say judiciary. Oh my goodness, because they wouldn't give me a pronunciation for it. Judiciary, the free press in our education systems. So pretty much, what their name was? What Todd Wolfson said was that schools won't be able to have a freedom of speech no more. And if you are a democratic school in a concise way, you're about to be hit as well, which is most colleges. That's been the argument with the rich. I only been hearing the wealth say this. I'm not gonna lie. They've been saying that all colleges are very. They said all colleges are democratic and liberal. We talked about that a little bit before. Why this keep coming up? I don't know. When I follow the media, follow the storylines, this comes up all the time. And I'll be honest with you guys, I probably dodge it a lot of the times because, like I said before, when we go to college or I went to college, I wasn't worried about a Republican institution or a Democratic institution. I wasn't. I probably wouldn't have realized that until I graduated, knowing me. And then right here, G said, when I was younger, my first read of a book was to go through and look for words I don't know to learn them so that when I go through eventually on the third go, I more truly understand. Yeah. When I was younger, my first read of a book. And that's what I do a lot of times. Definitely be Googling my words. But I promise you, I feel like every word I come across, I have never seen that word before. I promise you. Most liberal colleges are liberal, but many colleges are overall nonpartisan. And that's how it should be nonpartisan. It's making it very complicated, right? Like, making it very complicated. So, yeah, that is one big. But I haven't heard anything about these schools closing deals yet. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know Duke was in there. I knew Brown, Cornell, but it says Northwestern universities, meaning like it's more of them. And Duke is like up there with Ivies, if I'm not mistaken, right, G? And Duke is like, because they private, they have a high standard academics too, if I'm not mistaken. And Duke is a R1. Duke is a Research 1 institution as well. Is Duke up there, G? And they like they not Ivy, but right under there. I forgot what you call it. It's like sub Ivy or something. I know that's not the word, but and believe it or not, outside of the South. Oh yeah, I'm right by some actually. Yeah, I'm right by some conservative colleges. What about Duke though, G? Duke University is a honorable mention of an Ivy League, right? They're honorable mention. Chronicle higher education, sounds pretty good. How problematic is the government's involvement? Some critics who think and then why I get G on that. I'll say it is definitely up there, but you choosing Stanford over Duke. But you choosing Stanford over Duke. So, some critics who think higher ed needs to curb campus anti-cynicism. Cynicism. I believe I said that right. Just had this word popped up yesterday. Not yesterday, Friday when we was talking. Wow. Am I on a different? Oh, I was in the news. That's why it kept popping up. I was like, why does this keep popping up?
Anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitism. I was saying anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism. So some critics who think higher education needs to curb campus
anti-Semitism,
become more ideologically diverse and embrace the concept of excellence, care less about whether colleges get there on their own. That's what they wanted. So right here, some critics who think higher ed needs to curb campus, become more ideologically diverse, and re-embrace the concept of excellence, care less about concept. They re-embrace the concept of excellent, care less about whether colleges get there on their own, than about whether they are giving the government too much along the way. Okay. Yeah, I wrote that very strategically. I'll give you props up on that. And I'm saying Stanford is not an Ivy, but a better school than Duke, and Duke is like a tier under that. And I feel like because Duke is in the South. I don't know though. I heard some recent about Stanford actually that we're gonna talk about. I heard some recent about Stanford, and this right here, they wrote that so butchery that I'm gonna copy and paste it. How you feel about this? It's about the Columbia. It's about Columbia. Yeah, it's about Columbia. What's going on? But it's talking about the government's involvement. G. So I put this. Oh wow. Not enough words. And now I'm gonna pop up that Stanford. You just reminded me I had an article on that. Are you I had a little, and this the end of it. Very problematic. G said very problematic. Okay. Yeah, I think it's very problematic. It's the last thing I expected, I'll be honest with you. But it's just such a needed change. And G said because it's all political with very little, if any, actual substance. Right. It's very political. Like I said, besides like the how can I say, besides the demographic problems, but I know demographic expands into a lot of other areas like race, um, like disabilities, not disabilities. I'm gonna just say demographics. With all the demographic problems, like I'm all for making universities pay, like make them cough up that money, make them like shake them out their pants for the money, like give me all your money. But the other things I can't really justify if I was debating. Like right now with G, if I was talking to G, I couldn't back it up because I don't get it a little bit. What they say and what they actually want are totally different, and that's the politics of it. Politics say one thing but do another. That's one thing with politics. Where is LinkedIn? I wanted to ask about that real quick. It was Stanford. It was before I keep going, it's about to be very, very, very. I think it's pretty good. I think it was pretty good. It was not the first time I heard this. Unpopular opinion, even as a private college and wants to be. Yeah. Even as a private college, yeah. And so, real quick, where is it? All right, right here, and vice versa for conservative as well. So not vice versa. I just read that. So I don't know who this from. This is by somebody. They're founder of CB. I don't know. I don't know where they are, but they posted an article on LinkedIn. They're the founder of CB Insights. I don't know what that is. All right. So what's a good headline for this? I don't feel like they used a good headline. We are not learning. All right, I can use that. End quote. It's got 62,000 views. End quote. We are not learning anything. Stanford graduate school business students sound the alarm over academics. That's like over there, right there. All right, let the comments pour in. They say they're not learning nothing. MBA students at Stanford have really been upset. Right here it says Stanford Graduate School of Business, long considered among the most elite MBA programs in the world, is facing a storm of internal criticism. Internal criticism from students who say the academic experience has fallen far short of expectations. Oh, my hands up. What do you want to do then? If you feel like the bad part about it, people are still going to go there, but they've been having problems. The MBA students at Stanford, this is Stanford. Is this Stanford? Yeah, Stanford. Stanford University, at graduate school, have been having problems about their grad program. They said the curriculum is outdated. They said the faculty have a disengaged faculty culture. And what they said, the long-term value of a Stanford degree by producing scores of grads unprepared for the modern world of work. The modern world of work. I don't like that. The modern world of work. Just say today's workforce or something. LOL. So G said, LOL, they just mad because they ain't getting any new jobs, LOL. If they were getting jobs, this article wouldn't exist. They must haven't networked enough. Yeah. Yeah. I would, it was on LinkedIn. I don't know where they got it. Said it was by Mark Ether. I don't know where they got it from. It don't even have a link to the article. It's a LinkedIn post. People are in the comment section too. And I'll tell you what the comment section, give you a little brief what the comment section is saying. Is this the comment section? Okay, yeah. So the comment section was saying, so guys, there's a lot of stigma about, the reason I got this article and pointed to this article is because I didn't forget about Columbia. We almost done with it, but the reason I jumped to this article is because it's a stigma of like everybody saying education is worth it. Education is worth it. Your MBA is not worth it, or higher education is not the same value, and blah 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 blah, right? And so, yeah. And then G said they just mad because they didn't network enough. They just mad. Like if you go to Stanford and you say you can't get a job, I think you're just mad you're not getting the job you want. Because unless, like I said, these jobs don't care about where you went to school sometimes now. So I don't know. But somebody right here said, I don't know what these comments are. Some of these comments. Somebody said, buyer, be aware. Stanford and the Ivies. That's what they said. Gee, it's a shot at y'all, I think. I don't know if I'm gonna read it. Stanford and the Ivies have been overrated and living off the past for a long time. That's the comment section on LinkedIn. Let me see what G said. G said something before I keep going. I'm only being cheeky, but when I was going to school, I heard from numerous sources that business school is about networking at the end of the day. That is crazy. And G said, as a matter of fact, I heard from a lot of people that most people in business school already come from established careers and get an MBA to further their career. Interesting. That's interesting. Actually, my financial advisor was in that same case. He's actually snagging certifications. Which is actually interesting. And he's well in his career. It's interesting you say that. It's very accurate. See, GB knowing. That's why I don't really, you gotta have people in your corner who know a little more. That's accurate, G. That's very accurate. That comment about Ivies is just coming from someone who didn't get in. LOL. No shade though. Yeah, he said anybody who thinks you go, anybody. I got another comment for you. Anybody who thinks you go to a tier 1 MBA to learn stuff is confused. That is like you. That is like thinking you are. Hold up. That is like thinking you hire consultants for knowledge, not pedigree. What? I'm gonna put that one in here. That's another comment right there. Somebody commented that. And then what else they said? I'm gonna do one more comment real quick. He said too much. I don't want to use him. No, I don't like that. Come on, give me a good one, y'all. They be typing paragraphs up in here, man. They be typing paragraphs. Somebody right here. Degrees may open doors, but it's experience, determination, and the right attitude that keep you in the room. Okay. All right. So yeah. Yeah, I want to talk about that. Is that Stanford? Hold up. Is it Stanford or Stanford? I think it's not Stanford. Wait a minute. Unless they. Oh, have I been spelling Stanford wrong the whole time? I think I'm having an awe moment right now. Oh, you know what I just realized, G? You gonna laugh at me. Stanford doesn't have a D in it. It's Stanford. So do you say Stanford? I used to say Stanford, like Stanford. That's how I used to say it. Hold on, I said Stanford. That's how I say it. It's just Stanford. Wow. I was looking, they looked it weird on LinkedIn. I was like, did they miss the D? But apparently it doesn't have a D. Interesting. That comment is so true though. When you grow up, I suppose you learn that connections matter more. It do. And I think we should remember that. So if connections matter more, I know we getting back to the same a little bit. Like, it shouldn't matter where you go to school though, right? Like, I'm not saying it doesn't, but it really sparks a debate. Like, if connections matter, the first pronunciation is the right one. The D is slightly silent. There's not even a D in it though. That's the crazy part about it. There's not even a D in Stanford. It's just Stanford. Like Stanford. Like, but if it's about connections, at the end of the day, does it really matter where we go to school? And G, I know we had this conversation, but it's something that's just gonna come up as we keep doing this live stream. People are gonna say if it doesn't matter where I go to school, then why are some schools charging all these prices? Like, I can see a lot of questions coming from all kinds of ways. Like, if connections don't matter, why am I going to this school? Or if connections mattered, why don't everybody just go to this school, for example? It's like, it sounds like crazy questions, but these are questions people gonna ask. Like, why would I go to this school if all the connections are through just talking and networking and then right here, oh, I thought you was talking about the D at the. He said, oh yeah, no D in the middle. Like, for this whole time, I thought Stanford had Standford. Whoo, Stanford got me on that one. They got me. They got me good. Good thing I'm not a campus ambassador for their college. All right, so what we at? I don't think it's gonna be a long live screen, guys. So, in the final words of Columbia in their deals, right quick. With Columbia deals overall. So right here, the bigger question, they say bigger question per Chronicle Higher Education. They said the bigger question. I'm gonna put it in the live chat before I read it, and then we just gonna close out. It's not that much information in the streets. I will check the internet right quick before I do close out. It's not that much, and I'm not gonna hold y'all hostage. I'm not gonna do that. Very slow day, but we still got some stuff out of it. And I got one more thing I could talk about too. This will be interesting. I think it'll be a little interesting. So it says Columbia's agreement sweeps away the illusion that higher education. Columbia's agreement sweeps away the illusion that higher ed isn't subject to government influence, even as the feds didn't get quite so much that the university leaders can't claim independence. Will the uneasy truth hold? And right here, G said, and that's why if you can go to an Ivy, you should. I wouldn't have paid full price to go to Columbia when I was 18, but as an older adult, I think that I would have been the smarter move to pay. I think that would have been a smarter move to pay. Because you get to claim your independence, G. Is that why you say that? Like, the school is doing their own thought process. Elaborate on that a little bit for me real quick. Before I do this, one more thing I think we could talk about real quick. G said the true will hold. G said the true will hold because the money was paid. But I agree, they can't really claim independence because of what they are asking for. Oh, the truth will hold because the. Okay. And a lot of schools, and that's where G comes back. That's where it comes back to, that reiteration. That the school got the money to claim the independence, where other schools gonna have to take agreements probably. So we possibly can see agreements taking place that forces, like, people like me who went to state schools, some private schools, really, like, schools, pretty much if your school don't got the money to pretty much keep their independence, your school can be essentially doing as they're told, or like we said earlier, or like G said earlier, doing as they told to stay under the radar, so they don't have to lose potentially accreditation or all these other stimulations, right? Accreditation, academic reform, cutting programs. So, and then G said, I got a scholarship, but after growing up more and learn more about the world, the opportunity cost for Columbia is greater than the money I would have saved not going. G sound like a campus ambassador selling us Columbia on the plate. You can't pass it up. It's one of the best. I love it though. That's how you should be about your school. G now over here talking about I love G not over here talking about I love Roll Tide and I went to Columbia. G like I love Columbia. At least when I was there, it was definitely worth the connections I got. Yeah, you tell me in the chat all the time, you know a lot of people, or of this person at this institution, this job. Well, you haven't said jobs, but you definitely said it's like colleges, people from different colleges and things of that. So definitely something that's very, very good. It's not even just about Columbia, but NYC and alumni, and the alumni in the cities. That's a great. You built a very good foundation out there, G. I can't even say much on. Really a great foundation out there. So guys, this was interesting to me. Real quick, this was interesting. Before we do our breakdown of New Mexico University, this was interesting. So somebody posted college football and the partnerships the school has as well. All the partnerships are swell. Yeah, I'm a huge believer. Like schools should strive for them partnerships. Those partnerships make a big difference. They do, G. They make a big difference. A big difference. And so, college football or capital markets. So you know me, guys. I'll be talking about how like some colleges are like blue chip colleges, and like they're not going to go nowhere, no matter how rough things get in the world. They're going to be standing strong. So somebody took the time and day out of their hard working life to type this long LinkedIn post about um, college football beginning to mirror the structure, behavior, and financial dynamics of Wall Street. That's what they said. And so I didn't know how to feel about it. They said Notre Dame, Georgia, Ohio State, and Michigan round out a top five that looks more like a Fortune 500 index than a sports ranking. So it goes into like a wealth advisor, raises big questions for athletes and families, navigating the new landscape of NIL, transfer portal, right? All that good stuff. Da da da. And it says right here, the modern athlete is no longer just a competitor; they are a startup, and these programs are the VC firms, each with different risk profiles, value prop, and exit opportunities. It says to athletes and their families, your earning window might open earlier than ever, but it also closes faster than most anticipate. Don't just follow the money, build a plan. So he said right here, the stadium has become the new stock exchange. Now, I was really interested in where he was going with this post. It says college football program valuation. So they said if the University of Texas was to sell their college football program, I guess, they will go for $2.38 billion. And then UGA will go for 1.92 billion. Ohio State 1.9 billion. Notre Dame 1.85 billion. 1.83 billion. 5 Michigan. Alabama 1.74 billion if they were to sell. So why is that important right now when we talking about higher education? This is my prime example that I don't know if these are real numbers. I don't know if they first and foremost, I don't know if these are real numbers. But what I'm going to say first and foremost, I'm highly sure these are. Well, it said the latest evaluations from the athletics place, the Texas Longhorns. I'm pretty sure they took their hard working ethic day to do this. These are real numbers, but or very close to real numbers. G said at least. Okay, G said I agree. Schools pour a lot into their sports programs, and that's exactly because they're being in a lot of money for schools. Oh, bringing a lot of money. Okay, because they bring in a lot of money for the schools. Yeah, and I'm not even upset about it. What I'm getting at is too is like these schools ain't going nowhere. Like people got to keep that in mind. These schools are not going nowhere. And if these schools, I don't know if these are real numbers once again, because I can't believe, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not trusting, what is it called? The athletic place as a source of projections on college football programs when, no. But it's good to think about it. They probably are. The University of Texas is probably worth 2.3 billion. Texas is like its own country sometimes. But these schools are not going nowhere, guys. And it's just another reminder that with all this going on, they pulling a lot of money. You're going to be, yeah, in every industry, there is such a thing as being too big to fail. Yeah. And I just don't see a place where these schools are going to fail. Now, now they can fail by your program getting sliced. This is how it relates to like corporate America or working in the how they say working in the Shark Tank or something like that. Like when I say schools like this, working at big schools like this, any school really, but bigger schools, like they have constant high turnover rates at these schools. People think it's all good to work at these big schools, but they have high turnover rates. And some of them might have good working staff. They well structured. They invest into their places of business. Like if you worked at a place where you're like, we need more day-to-day people working with these people. You ever seen a business where they have two people answering all the phone calls for like 20,000 people? Like they have the same problems in higher education. It's just about what they want to structure and focus on more. If they know, look, nobody cares about that. They can complain all they want in a particular area. We still gonna get the parents. We still gonna get the guardians. We still gonna get customers coming in, or stakeholders. It doesn't matter. So I'm gonna put less people over there, put more people over here, or I'm gonna cut this program. Why? Because this program ain't really helping us. It's wasting money. We can put that more into what our sports program, or we can put that somewhere else where it could generate or help. And then G said the biggest problem with higher education faculty and staffing is mobility. Elaborate on that, G. G said the biggest, I'm gonna read it one more time. G said the biggest problem with higher education faculty and staffing is mobility. So you meaning like faculty and staff, what's that? I'll get a mobility, like they can't move. Expand on that for me. And then I'll be setting up the University of New Mexico. Professors are really the only role in higher education that has some formal career ladder. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because I know, like, as an academic advisor, as I am, you can become an academic advisor. 1, 2, like you'll have to keep, like in our career field, like they used to stay. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, G. You probably know this, G, or anybody else who pop in with us. They know this. This is a career field where people stay and get a job like I got, and they stay there for 20 years. I kid you not. No increase in pay, no nothing. They just stay here. I don't know when the change of like jobs started coming along. Like I know that started like definitely while we was in college, like 2018, 19, people started job hopping and not staying in one place no more. Well, I'm saying that is what I'm saying that is why there is a lot of turnover because they moved. I'm saying that's why it's a lot of turnover because they move on to other universities for better roles. That's exactly it. They are essentially stagnated careers. Yeah, very stagnated careers. Like if I wanted to get an increase in pay, so we were going the same way, G. So if we want to get an increase in pay, guess what? I had to go to another institution. I had to go to different schools, and the reason I'm highlighting this because the older generation they would stay in these career fields and just stay at this one salary and be like, this is all I could do. And they'd be like, my retirement is tied in here. And I never understood that because not a financial advisor, but I manage my own I manage my own retirement. Um, so I don't want to get into that. That's a whole nother spiel, but we probably heard on YouTube channels when they talk about that. But the older generation, I know for sure, like it's a whole lot of them. They're like, yeah, I'm staying here, my retirement, da da da, and then you know the rest, right? And then G said, like you said, pretty much any role or other profession other than professor, you're kind of stuck and may move up if a higher up retires or if you go back to school. If you go back to school, that's why a lot of them in my career or in my graduate school, they're older, so they're trying to, I guess, get that bump and go somewhere else, and hopefully, change schools. But higher education has a long way to go. I don't even know if it'll get better, to be honest with you, in the next 10 years, because we don't value education, period, in America. So in the next 10 years, it's probably going to be like this, if not worse, with AI coming. So I don't know. I really don't know what the next. I can see 5, what it's gonna look like, but 10, I don't know what 10 gonna look like a decade from now. I don't know what that's gonna look like. But I can tell you one thing: it's gonna become real popular when people start getting savvy of what's going on. And G said either bump to go somewhere else or just get a small pay bump. Get them small pay bumps. Yeah. That's why I said y'all not finna work me like crazy. Because that is crazy. Like people would stay in a career field with the same pay and not go for better for themselves. Ah, it's a lot of things we're gonna talk about, man. Cause that leads into like stock market. That just leads into like why you should manage your own retirement. Gee, you manage your own retirement. You got to. You got to manage your own retirement. You run your own business. You manage your own retirement, right, G? While we wait on G to say that, and G said in the next 10 years it definitely will be worse. G said because everyone says, what's the point of going to college if robots and AI or what's the point of going to college if robots and AI are taking all the jobs? And then G said, yeah, LOL, I don't actually have to, but I do. Yeah, I feel like we should. I feel like we should. Man, I be the like every job I leave when I'm there so far that I worked, I sound like I've been working for 20 years. I haven't been working for a decade yet. Every job I left or came from, I roll over my retirement to my own and I manage it myself. Cause all they do for all my OGs out there, all they do is put your retirement into an S&P ETF and it follows the S&P 500 pretty much. They gonna pick whatever platform or brokerage is with. They gonna follow. They gonna pick that S&P 500 ETF, and then that's all it's gonna do. And I'm getting charged a fee or whatever. Ain't no telling because you can't see it because your job is controlling it. Can't stand it. And G said, I agree. I do believe you should take agency in your own. You should take agency in your own retirement or action in your own retirement. Yes. Yes. And that's all they do. They just put it in the S&P 500 and let it run. And most retirement programs are actually managed by single groups of companies. You gonna trust them? We don't trust them. We don't trust them. We trust ourselves. Agency is the word I wanted to use. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, G did want to use agency. Okay, I'm sorry. I said action. Okay. All right. University of New Mexico. University of New Mexico. So y'all can get back to your busy lives instead of watching me right now. We had some good conversations. We made something out of nothing. Believe it or not today. We made something out of nothing. It took a little minute. It didn't take that minute. We just had to make something. Agency is like ownership. You know I was gonna Google that too. I was about to Google that. I was gonna say why did you use agency? I was just about to say that. I kid you not. I was just about to say that. Yeah, I'm thinking my next job, I'm not even gonna enroll in a retirement. I'm gonna tell them, just give it to me. I'll do it myself. I enjoy watching you and chatting. I enjoy watching you and chatting. You like just being humble. Yeah, just like you, just being humble. Yeah, I appreciate that, G. That's keeping me going. That's keeping me going, G. I appreciate that. Okay, it's gonna be days when I know it's just really thin in this career field to get information until I'm able to go, with some ideas coming when I'm able to go get it. So right now, I'm just playing how we do. But we are definitely, I like the upside of it. We like a small cap stock right now. It's a lot of upside right now for us. A very lot of upside. But as I said, usually when Mondays are like this, we're gonna have a lot more tomorrow. Probably gonna have it right after we get off of here, actually. Usually that's how it goes. See? Some stuff right here. Yep. Yeah. Some stuff coming in. I agree. You got a lot of upside. You just have to keep going. Just got to keep going and twinking. Yep. New Mexico? Is the University of New Mexico in Las Vegas for real? Uh-oh. Is the University of Mexico? Oh, not of Mexico. Of New Mexico. Lord, I ain't put new in there. The University of New Mexico is a public research university in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I can say Albuquerque though. Make it make sense. Where are they located? Oh, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay. I said it. I was looking for Las Vegas, but they have a campus in Las Vegas. That's what it was. This is the main campus. All right, there we go. They have a lot of campuses, by the way. A lot of them. That's good though. That's good. Expansion is always good. It hurts in the beginning, but expansion is always good. University of New Mexico main campus. This is there is a Las Vegas in New Mexico. I'm gonna wait on that one. 4-year public. It's in the city. It's a large institution. And let's get let's slide this down. Tuition and fees. I said tuition and fees. Our school came up. New Mexico. I know a player that went to that school, actually. Basketball player. He went to that school. I don't know him personally, but he definitely is in the NBA. Pascal Siakam went to that school. And Eddie Guerrero went to the University of New Mexico. I didn't know that. Oh, check that out. Eddie Guerrero. And then G said, which has a New Mexico Islands University, which has a satellite campus in Albuquerque as well. LOL, confusing, isn't it? Very confusing, especially if I've never been in the area. Throwing me in all kinds of loops. All right, we got there. Well, we don't got their tuition yet. Okay. Link, and they took me to a PDF. Before we start, just went to that setup because I don't want to have to stop and wait on that. This is your schools who like to put stuff in PDFs or Adobe or whatever, and just to show me your high price tuition. Okay. Okay. All right. And it looks confusing, but luckily I know how to calculate it myself because they don't know how to do it, apparently. All right. Graduation rate is 57% at the University of New Mexico. This is on their main campus, of course. It's a Hispanic serving institution, which means they tailor to the Hispanic demographic heavily to make sure that they have all the access and resources they need. But they have a 57% graduation rate. That is, the midpoint is 58%, so they're below the midpoint. That's an F, by the way. 57% on a 100% scale. That's terrible. Average annual cost is about $17,500 to go here. So let's see how much it is annually to go here. Did they include housing? No, but we already got the housing rates up here. So on the low end, remember earlier I said on the low end you're going to pay about 20, essentially 2,500. You're on the low end. That's what you're going to pay for housing. Now I have to calculate the tuition. My calculator is not up here, of course. So their tuition is 286 per credit hour. That is not bad. 286 times 2 times 12 for 12 credit hours is $3,432. That's not bad. Does that include? No, that does not include the fees. How much are the fees? So student mandatory fees are going to be an extra $819. So extra 819. So you're looking at 4251 per semester. So we do 4251 times 2. You're looking at $8,000. Now in most cases, guys, remember I said school. I probably haven't said it in a while, but school, if you stay on campus and you add the meal plans and dormitory, that's an additional that's going to total at about $10,000 plus. That's why I say it saves you about $10,000 or more, because when you take off the extra, like I said, it's going to be the housing is an extra 2,500 per semester. So what? That's 5,000 off, and then the meal plans are about the same price. So that's like what? That's like another 5,000 off. So what? That's $10,000 right there that you get to keep. What? Back in your financial aid, back in your, what's that word I'm looking for? Your financial aid, which doesn't go into your tuition, because when they bill you, they're billing what? They're billing you by tuition, which means your financial aid is just taking care of what? Your tuition. Now that's something they need to fix. When financial aid should only take care of what? Tuition. I don't think financial aid should take care of your dormitory, and your meal plans. That's my personal opinion. I would love to get some pushback, but I don't think your financial aid, if you get Pell or anything related to that, it shouldn't cover that. Now, if you're on a scholarship or anything else, show money, do what you want. But most students don't. Most students' problem is when they say financial aid is not enough, is that it's not that their tuition is not enough. I mean, it's not that they're not paying the tuition. They're paying the tuition. That's no problem. But when you add on these other meal plans and dorms, like I repeat, that's what's making it hard for you to pay for school with financial aid. So don't ask me why they ring it up like that. They do. So right now, if we stand on topic, if I just add, right now you're looking at $8,000 for the year. Remember, financial aid is only going to give you like 7 max, unless you get some other ones. Financial aid should, but I can't understand the transparency. Yeah. And so right now with University of New Mexico on their main campus, guys, you're looking at $8,502 for 1 full year in tuition alone. Per semester, once again, that's $42.51 you're looking at. Let's keep going. Right here they said earnings, you can earn $45,000 if you go here. $45,000. You can earn $45,000 a year. That's below the 4-year midpoint. The 4-year midpoint is $54,000 pretty much. They're below the 54,000 midpoint. They're like $10,000 off. So you're not even gonna get a great return. Assumptionally, according to the college scorecard, you're not gonna get a good return on investment as an average student. So right here, as I said before, your tuition is $8,502. I didn't even include the meal plans or the dorm. I'm sparing them a little bit. I'm not even gonna do that to them. $8,502 times 4. Remember, this is for the year, for each year. And remember, tuition is going to keep going up. This is university. It's going to keep going up. Times 4 is $34,000 not bad. I paid cheaper for my degrees, but an undergraduate pay a lot cheaper. I don't think I came close to that. 34 grand, and you're only gonna make 44 grand. Now, if you only do tuition, you looking pretty good. But remember, you're not gonna have this money after you graduate. So you might have to take on some debt to hopefully make that 44K salary. Let's keep going. Or 45 if I round it. So right here, we said graduation was 57% graduation rate. Students return, 73% of the students return after their first year at New Mexico University. Or University of New Mexico. I don't know why I said New Mexico University. University of New Mexico. 73% of their students return. That's a C average. The debt you would take on about $18,500 in debt on average, and 46% of students receive federal loans, which is almost about half, which makes sense a little bit, but that number could go down potentially for them with all the barriers of the new administration. So this is a heavily serving Spanish serving institution. So yeah. And then right here, this institution could suffer a lot. The percentage of, you have a 61% chance of earning more than a high school graduate. If you go here, you have a 61% chance of earning more than a high school graduate. That is not even a passing grade of 70%. Test scores, I'm pretty sure they have almost open admissions, but they don't. They have a 95% acceptance rate. They do not require the SAT, ACT. Why? Because colleges need students to go there. They want you to go to college. They want you to go to college. Education is education. I'm not saying this school is bad, but I will rate them as D. They are D. Why they are a D? Because the school actually, if you actually stay off campus, guys, and if you stay off campus, and you might can squeeze out and go to school here, maybe, but the tuition, once again, is gonna hurt you a lot, man. They're charging you at 8502 divided by 2. They're charging you $4 grand to go to school there, and that's per semester. When I can go to a 2-year who might actually have a higher job placement than this institution. And I probably can find a school that's a little cheaper and better than them. Probably. I don't know many colleges out there in, what's this place? What is it called? Mexico, Albuquerque. Let me see. I don't know many schools in this area per se. So I don't know, guys, give me a few seconds. I don't know many schools in this area. Let me see colleges. Let me go colleges and then yeah, paying $42.51. That's a lot of money. That's just a lot of money. It's a D, and they're not guaranteeing you. Shoot, they're not even guaranteeing you 50,000 when you graduate. The midpoint is 53. They not even guaranteeing you 50,000. So that's after your 10 years of being removed from the institution. You might come across that number. You might not. So yeah, they are D. If they like to renew themselves. They like to, what's that word I'm looking for? They would like to, what's that word? I forgot the word. If they would like to put themselves in a better spotlight, they can know where to find us for sure. And G said something in the live screen, but New Mexico University, I keep saying that, they probably should change the name to that. University of New Mexico should definitely, they definitely are a D. They definitely are a D. Yeah, I'm rating them a D. Cause I wouldn't go there though. Would I transfer there? I wouldn't transfer there or anything. After getting my 2-year degree, I wouldn't transfer there. Apparently now the average unemployment rate for young people with degrees is similar to the unemployment rate of non-grads. That is bad. That is so bad. That is so bad. Where is it, G? That's so bad. That's so bad. That's so bad. So we are done. We had a pretty good live stream. We will see you guys tomorrow. And I appreciate everybody coming through. And G, that is horrible, G. That's very horrible. That's very horrible. Young grads better get into the stock market. That's something. You gotta create some money for yourself. And we'll be on tomorrow as normal. And let's just keep going. Appreciate everybody showing up. Peace, chicken grease. I don't got planned nothing. Editing videos, checking the market, and that's pretty much it, G. True, getting to capital gains. That's all I'm gonna be doing. Right here working. Getting to the good, about to get to the fun part of editing now. All right, peace, chicken grease, and be safe and don't work too hard, G.